This is a challenge for my Christian friends, a 2015 faith challenge. Hello everyone, welcome to the new year. I would like to challenge you this year to go deeper in your personal faith. Now, it's been a few months ago that I released a book. It's entitled Shellcrackers. The inspiration for this book came from a powerfully sent dream, and it was followed by a supernatural vision of things to come. I don't know what else to say about that, except personally, I don't think we as Christians may have begun to process about these mysterious scriptural promises from the Lord as they begin to come to fruition. Listen to the words of the prophet Joel in predicting these powerful communications which will one day appear in our world and impact our lives as right before the time of the Lord in the rapture. Joel chapter 2, 28 through 31 says, "And afterward I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your old men will dream dreams, and your young men will see visions. Even on my servants, both men and women, I'll pour out my spirit in those days. I'll show wonders in the heavens, and on earth, blood, fire, and billows of smoke. The sun will be turned to darkness, and the moon to blood, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord." So let me pause here and ask a couple questions. Question 1. As a Christ follower, how will you respond to a diverse group of our elderly who show up to our churches and claim that they just received a message from God in an incredibly powerful dream, and therefore we as Christians and churches need to stop what we're doing and instantly change our directions? Question 2. What will you think when a group of teenagers or our youth begins telling us of these blazing visions of a mission of the Lord that needs to be accomplished at all costs? Question 3. When our sons and daughters fulfill these scriptures by prophesying, do we have a balanced scriptural approach which includes the idea of those who will be able to tell us about our future with divine, God-granted, God-given authority? Question 4. Can you see our dilemma? We as Christians must either believe that the Bible is false in these regards, or we must be prepared to listen to our God when He fulfills these promises, His promises, when He sends these immense, infinite, powerful, supernatural messages. So as concisely as I can, here's the divine message that God demonstrated to me and then backed it up with connecting those to the Holy Scriptures. I think you'll see that no one could be this smart, and only God Himself could define and clarify these things. So in the end, God will do this. He will prove that only God alone was God, and man was simply man. And some of our theories about these things will be shown to be slightly in error. Here's the thought. There will be a select group of Christians which will be held back from the rapture of Christ for God's divine purposes, plans, and missions. Now this is important. So please stop and pray here. Let's set aside our traditions and our biases, and in its place, let's simply just listen to God speak through the Holy Scriptures. Revelation 7 is a chapter about one thing and one thing only. It's a chapter about groups of saints who will be held back to minister to those who are left behind, the lost souls. And interestingly, we all agree on the first half of the chapter. There's 144,000 Jewish saints that are listed in very precise details, that are held back to minister in and around those lost souls around Israel. But they're very precise. 12,000 from this tribe, 12,000, 12,000, 12,000. Very precise. No question about that. Now, the second half of the chapter. Interestingly, John the Revelator gets a little confused. And so there's a conversation that goes back and forth between he and one of the elders. This group of white-robed saints, directly in the middle of the Great Tribulation, shows up in heaven, standing right before the throne of God, and he's confused about who they are. The answer comes out. These are they that came out of the Great Tribulation. The description goes on. They're the ones that came from every nation, every tribe, every language, and every tongue. Do you see? God needs to hold people back, not just for the nation of Israel, but for the entire globe of mankind, to minister to those who are left behind. Some might suggest this, and I've read a lot on these things, but some might suggest that those are the Christians that got saved after the rapture. I have one word for that. Wrong. I can demonstrate that. If we scroll back to Revelation 6, John already saw that group, and he described that group in very precise details. This group was not in white robes. They were hidden under the throne of God. They were killed for their new testimonies, as the scripture tell us. Very clearly, those that got saved after the rapture and now ended up in heaven. This group asked some awkward and naive questions. They press God for why he's not taking revenge. How long will this period of tribulation last? Why are Christians being killed to begin with? They ask some very naive questions. Interestingly, God makes no promises or commitments to this group. So therefore, if we think that this is the same group, if we scroll back to Revelation 7, God makes an entire host of promises and commitments to this other group in Revelation 7. If it was the same group, could never be possible. God would have contradicted himself, and the words of Scripture would contradict themselves. So, here's the thing. By now, you've probably been able to process the idea that shell crackers can be an awesome adventure in taking your faith to places that you may never have dreamed possible. No pun intended, okay? Totally pun intended. So here's my challenge to you. The 2015 Shell Cracker Challenge. Read shell crackers. It can be ordered from all the online retailers, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or my publisher at inspiringvoices.com. Or simply just send me a private message with an address, and I'll send you a signed, discounted copy for $10 a piece. And as always, my friends here in our faith community, I'd ask you to pass this vital information along, because as these things move forward, these will become critically important messages as God continues to move forward in fulfilling everything he intends to accomplish. As Christians, we all have a mission in life. Thanks for allowing me to share part of mine. And God bless you and yours. Blessings to you, my friends, in 2015. The challenge is on, and let's see who takes me up on it. Thanks.